The INFJ personality type is one of the rarest in the Myers-Briggs system. People with this type are deeply intuitive, empathetic, and thoughtful. They care about others and often think about how their actions affect the world around them. Because of their sensitive and reflective nature, they tend to carry regret more heavily than most people. Regret can feel like a weight that INFJs struggle to shake off, especially if they feel they've let someone down or missed a meaningful opportunity. INFJs often have strong values. They want to live with purpose and do what they believe is right. When they fall short of their own standards, it can hurt deeply. They don't just think about what happened, they replay it over and over. They ask themselves what they could have done better, and sometimes these thoughts stay with them for years. Unlike some other types who may brush off mistakes, INFJs analyze every detail. This can make it hard to move on, even from small things. Despite this, INFJs are also great at personal growth. They are self-aware and always looking to improve themselves. This means they can learn how to handle regret in healthier ways. They can recognize patterns in their thinking, take action to change habits, and focus on creating a more meaningful life. This video looks at how INFJs manage to live with fewer regrets. It explores practical habits and mindset shifts that help them move forward with peace of mind. These aren't quick fixes, but real changes that make a lasting difference. Each way connects to how INFJs naturally think and feel, giving them the tools to live with more acceptance and less regret. By the end of this video, you'll understand how INFJs use their strengths, like empathy, insight, and purpose, to live more fully and regret less. Whether you're an INFJ yourself or someone who knows one, these insights can help you understand the deeper side of this personality type and how it works through emotional challenges. Tactic number 1, embracing mindfulness and present living. One big reason INFJs struggle with regret is because they spend a lot of time in their own heads. Their minds are always busy, thinking, reflecting, remembering. They analyze their actions, wonder about other people's thoughts, and often replay past moments to see what went wrong. This habit of overthinking can make small mistakes feel huge and keep them stuck in the past. To move past this, many INFJs turn to mindfulness. Mindfulness means paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It sounds simple, but for an INFJ, this practice can be life-changing. It helps them shift focus away from what went wrong yesterday or what might go wrong tomorrow. It brings them into the here and now, where they can find peace and clarity. One way INFJs practice mindfulness is through journaling. Writing down thoughts can help clear the mind. It lets them process emotions in a healthy way instead of keeping everything inside. When INFJs write about what's bothering them, they start to see patterns and understand their feelings better. It also gives them a chance to let go of thoughts that don't serve them anymore. Another helpful tool is meditation. Even just 5 to 10 minutes a day can make a big difference. INFJs often feel a lot of pressure to do everything perfectly. Meditation helps them take a break from that pressure. It teaches them to observe their thoughts instead of getting caught up in them. Over time, they learn how to calm their inner world and approach life with more ease. Nature is also important for INFJs. Being outside in a quiet, natural place helps them reconnect with themselves. Whether it's a walk in the woods, sitting by water, or simply watching the sunset, these moments help them breathe and reset. Nature slows things down and reminds INFJs of what really matters. Practicing mindfulness doesn't mean INFJs stop caring or thinking deeply. It means they create space between themselves and their thoughts. That space gives them the power to choose how they respond. When they live in the present, they are less likely to get stuck in regret. They learn to accept what they can't change and focus on what they can do now. Also, mindfulness teaches INFJs that not everything needs to be perfect. Sometimes they regret things that didn't go exactly as planned, even if they turned out okay. Being mindful helps them let go of those unrealistic expectations. It reminds them that being human means making mistakes, and that's okay. The more INFJs stay present, the more they notice the good things happening around them. They start to see progress, joy, and beauty that they might have missed before. This creates a positive loop. The more they focus on the moment, the better they feel, and the less they regret. So, embracing mindfulness is not just a trend or a wellness tip. For INFJs, it's a survival tool. It gives them the chance to stop blaming themselves, to breathe, and to feel connected again. It helps them break free from the past and choose how they want to live going forward. Tactic number 2, setting healthy boundaries. INFJs are naturally caring people. They want to help others and often put other people's needs before their own. While this can be a beautiful trait, it can also lead to burnout and regret. When INFJs give too much without taking care of themselves, they often look back and feel drained, used, or frustrated. This is why setting boundaries is so important. A boundary is a clear line that protects your time, energy, and emotional well-being. For INFJs, learning to set these lines doesn't come easy. They worry that saying no might hurt someone's feelings or cause conflict. But the truth is, healthy boundaries create stronger, more respectful relationships. When INFJs don't set limits, they often take on too much. They may agree to help someone even when they're exhausted. They may say yes out of guilt instead of wanting to. Over time, this builds resentment. They regret saying yes when they should have said no. They regret not speaking up when something didn't feel right. To avoid this, INFJs need to learn how to check in with themselves first. Before agreeing to something, they should pause and ask, do I have the energy for this? Or, am I doing this because I want to, or because I feel guilty? These small moments of reflection can make a big difference. Learning to say no is a major step. Saying no doesn't mean being mean or selfish. It means being honest. INFJs often find that people respect them more when they speak clearly about their limits. And the people who truly care about them will understand. Another part of setting boundaries is recognizing when a relationship isn't healthy. INFJs sometimes stay in friendships or situations that drain them because they don't want to hurt anyone. But staying too long in a harmful space can lead to deep regret. It's better to walk away with honesty than to stay and feel broken. Setting boundaries also means making space for rest and quiet. INFJs need time alone to recharge. If they don't get that time, they become overwhelmed and can't give their best to anyone. By protecting their downtime, they show themselves the same care they give to others. It's helpful for INFJs to write down their limits. This makes them more real and easier to remember. For example, they can set a rule like, I won't answer work emails after 7 p.m., or I need one quiet day each week. These small rules can protect their peace and reduce future regrets. When INFJs set boundaries, they create balance. They can still help others, but not at the cost of their own well-being. They stop overcommitting, stop people-pleasing, and start living in a way that feels true to who they are. And that's when regret begins to fade. Tactic number 3, accepting imperfection and letting go of guilt. One of the hardest things for INFJs to accept is that they are not perfect, and neither is anyone else. They hold themselves to very high standards. They want to do things the right way, say the right thing, and be there for everyone. But when life doesn't go exactly as planned, they often feel guilty. Even small mistakes can stick with them for a long time. This guilt comes from their deep desire to do good in the world. INFJs care deeply, so when something goes wrong, they tend to blame themselves first. They ask, could I have done more? Or, was that my fault? Even if the mistake wasn't serious, the emotional weight it carries can feel huge. That's why learning to accept imperfection is such a powerful tactic for the INFJ. It doesn't mean lowering their standards. It means understanding that being human means making mistakes. It means realizing that not every action will be perfect, and that's okay. One helpful approach is to reframe the way they look at mistakes. Instead of thinking, I failed, they can ask, what did I learn? This simple shift turns guilt into growth. INFJs are already reflective people, so using that skill to learn rather than punish themselves can make a real difference. Another important step is practicing self-compassion. Many INFJs are kind to others, but very hard on themselves. When they make a mistake, they may say things in their mind they would never say to a friend. They may call themselves careless or feel ashamed. But self-compassion means speaking to yourself the same way you'd speak to someone you love. It means saying, it's okay, you tried your best. Sometimes INFJs also hold on to guilt that doesn't even belong to them. They may feel bad about things they had no control over. Or they might take on emotional weight from other people's problems. Recognizing what's theirs and what's not is a key step in letting go. They can ask, am I really responsible for this? Or am I just feeling too much? Letting go of guilt also means learning to forgive themselves. Everyone makes choices they later wish they could change. But INFJs tend to replay those choices again and again. To move forward, they have to remind themselves that they were doing the best they could at the time with what they knew. No one has perfect information in the moment. Looking back with today's knowledge will always make the past seem clearer. But that doesn't mean they failed. INFJs can also benefit from talking things out with someone they trust. A friend, therapist, or even writing in a journal can help release some of the guilt they carry. Getting things out of their head helps break the loop of overthinking and gives them a chance to see the situation from a new angle. With time, this tactic becomes a way of life. Accepting imperfection doesn't make INFJs careless, it makes them free. It gives them space to grow without fear. It helps them show up fully, even when things aren't certain or perfect. And most importantly, it helps them let go of regret so they can move forward with peace. Tactic number 4. Trusting their intuition. INFJs are known for their strong gut instincts. Their intuition is often one of their most powerful tools. It helps them understand people, see connections others miss, and make decisions based on a deep inner sense of what feels right. But even with this gift, many INFJs struggle to trust it fully. They often second-guess themselves, especially when their feelings go against logic or when other people question their decisions. This self-doubt can lead them to ignore their instincts and follow a path that doesn't feel right. Later, they regret not listening to themselves. One major way INFJs reduce regret is by learning to trust their intuition more. This means listening to that quiet voice inside, the one that says, "This feels right," or "Something's off here." It's not always loud or logical, but it's usually honest. When INFJs ignore it, they often look back and say, "I knew it, I should have listened." Trusting their intuition doesn't mean acting on impulse. INFJs take time to process things, and that's okay. It means recognizing that their inner voice is based on patterns, insights, and emotional intelligence built up over years. It's not random, it's rooted in who they are. One tactic that helps INFJs build trust in their intuition is looking back at past decisions. They can ask, "When did my gut tell me something, and was it right?" This reflection often shows a pattern. Over time, they see that their instincts were usually leading them in the right direction, even if they didn't follow them. Another key step is creating space for quiet thinking. INFJs need time alone to hear their inner voice clearly. In a busy or loud environment, it's easy to lose touch with that sense of inner knowing. But in silence, in reflection, that voice comes back. Meditation, journaling, or long walks can create the mental space needed to connect with intuition. It also helps to limit outside opinions. INFJs like to gather information, but too many outside voices can cloud their own judgment. At some point, they have to stop asking others and start asking themselves, "What do I feel is right for me?" That question brings them back to their center. When INFJs start trusting their intuition more often, they make choices that align with their values and needs. This leads to less regret, because even if the outcome isn't perfect, they know they stayed true to themselves. That feeling of inner alignment is often more important than the result. By learning to respect their inner voice, INFJs avoid situations where they later think, "I knew better, but I didn't act on it." Instead, they build confidence in their ability to guide their own path, and that's a powerful way to live with fewer regrets. Tactic number 5, engaging in purposeful activities. INFJs are driven by purpose. More than almost any other personality type, they want their lives to have meaning. They don't want to just go through the motions. They want to feel like they're making a difference, even in small ways. When their time and energy go toward things that matter to them, they feel fulfilled. But when they feel disconnected from purpose, regret often follows. That's why choosing meaningful activities is such a strong tactic for living with fewer regrets. INFJs thrive when they're doing work or hobbies that reflect their values. It could be creative work, helping others, or working on causes they care about. What matters most is that it feels real to them. Many INFJs find purpose in writing, counseling, teaching, or volunteering. These paths let them use their natural empathy and insight to connect with others. When they help someone grow, heal, or feel seen, it reminds them that their efforts have value. Even small acts of kindness can have a deep impact. Creative expression is another powerful outlet. Writing stories, painting, or making music allows INFJs to share their inner world. This gives their emotions a voice and brings them closer to others. Creating something that reflects their truth is one of the most fulfilling things they can do. But purpose doesn't always mean big, dramatic actions. It can also be found in daily habits. An INFJ might find meaning in cooking for loved ones, caring for a pet, or even keeping a peaceful home. The key is doing it with intention, choosing to be present and to give from the heart. To avoid regret, INFJs often ask themselves, "Does this matter to me?" If the answer is yes, they move toward it. If the answer is no, they try to let it go. This filter helps them use their energy wisely and avoid spending time on things that don't align with who they are. Saying yes to purpose sometimes means saying no to other things. INFJs have to protect their time so they can focus on what feels meaningful. That might mean cutting back on social events, stepping away from draining obligations, or choosing a simpler lifestyle. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. When INFJs engage in purposeful living, they feel more grounded and less anxious. They stop comparing themselves to others. They stop chasing the idea of success defined by someone else. And they start building a life that feels good from the inside out. Over time, this way of living builds peace. When they look back, they see choices that reflect their true self. Even if things didn't always go perfectly, they can feel proud that they stayed aligned with what they believe in. That kind of life carries far less regret and far more meaning. Tactic number 6. Seeking support and community. NFJs are often seen as quiet and independent, but that doesn't mean they want to be alone all the time. In fact, connection is something they value deeply. They want relationships that are real, honest, and supportive. But when INFJs are going through something hard, they tend to pull away. They don't want to burden others or risk being misunderstood. This habit of withdrawing can lead to regret, especially when they realize they didn't have to go through it alone. That's why reaching out for support is such an important tactic for living with fewer regrets. When INFJs choose to share what they're feeling with someone they trust, it lightens the emotional load. They gain new perspective. Sometimes just saying the words out loud helps them see the situation more clearly. The right kind of support also helps INFJs feel seen. They often feel like outsiders, and when someone listens and understands them, it creates a deep sense of belonging. That connection can heal old wounds and bring comfort during difficult times. It reminds them that they don't have to carry everything alone. For INFJs, the quality of their relationships matters more than the number of friends they have. They tend to keep a small circle of people who they really trust, but even in close relationships, it can be hard for them to open up. That's why it's helpful to take small steps, sharing a little at a time, checking how it feels, and slowly building confidence in the relationship. Sometimes support comes from people, and sometimes it comes from community. INFJs may find connection in groups where they can be themselves, whether it's a writing club, a volunteer group, a spiritual circle, or even an online space with like-minded people. These communities can give them a sense of purpose and remind them that they're not alone in their struggles. Therapy or counseling can also be powerful. It gives INFJs a safe space to process their thoughts and emotions without judgment. Talking with a professional can help them untangle guilt, overthinking, and regret in ways they can't always do on their own. When INFJs allow others in, they open the door to healing. They learn that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's a form of courage. And when they feel supported, they make better choices. They don't rush into things out of fear. They don't hold in pain until it becomes too heavy. They act from a place of strength, which leads to fewer regrets in the long run. So while INFJs may be private by nature, seeking support is one of the smartest moves they can make. It turns regret into connection, pain into understanding, and isolation into growth. INFJs feel things deeply. They reflect often, care about others, and want to live with purpose. But because of these traits, they also face the risk of carrying regret more than most. That's why it's so important for them to build a life that supports their emotional health. By practicing mindfulness, setting strong boundaries, and learning to accept imperfections, INFJs start to create more peace in their lives. Trusting their intuition helps them stay true to themselves. Choosing purposeful actions brings a deep sense of meaning, and reaching out for support reminds them that they don't have to face everything alone. None of these tactics erase regret completely, but they help INFJs move through life with more confidence and fewer what-ifs. They make choices that reflect who they are. They forgive themselves. They live with intention. The result is not a perfect life, but a true one. A life where even the mistakes have value, because they come from a place of growth and heart. And that's something the INFJ can carry with pride, knowing that they live not without regret, but with less of it and with a lot more purpose.